The very first horror movie in cinema history is a short silent film titled Le Manoir du Diable, which translates to The House of the Devil. Released in 1896, this French masterpiece was created by the legendary filmmaker and illusionist Georges Méliès. While it is incredibly short by modern standards, running for just over 3 minutes, it broke ground by introducing supernatural elements to the silver screen for the absolute first time. The plot of this brief film centers around a magical cauldron and a transforming bat that turns into the devil. Méliès used his background in stage magic to invent special effects, including the substitution splice technique where the camera is stopped to swap objects. Through this illusion, the director shocked audiences by making phantoms, witches, skeletons, and a crucifix materialize out of thin air. Despite its dark and spooky subject matter, the film was initially intended to amuse and amaze viewers rather than terrifying them to their core. In 1896, moving pictures were a brand new technology, so seeing a skeleton come to life on screen was a jaw-dropping spectacle. Because of this, historians often debate whether to classify the short as a pure horror piece or a whimsical fantasy production. Ultimately, this 3-minute creation laid the foundational stone for the entire horror genre that followed over the next century. By proving that film could bring the supernatural and the bizarre to life, Méliès inspired future artists to explore the macabre. Today, it remains a monumental piece of cinematic history that proves horror has been part of the movies since the very beginning. The first cinematic adaptation of Mary Shelley's classic story arrived in 1910 under the title Frankenstein. Created by the famous Edison Studios, this 16-minute silent film is historically significant as the very first monster movie ever put on celluloid. The production sought to move away from the pure shock value of early theater, aiming instead to explore the deep psychological and philosophical themes of creation and scientific hubris. The narrative focuses on a young student who successfully discovers the secret of life in a mysterious laboratory chemical vat. Instead of stitching together body parts like later versions, this young scientist creates a grotesque, misshapen creature out of raw chemicals. The iconic creation scene relies on clever reverse filming techniques, showing a burning skeleton slowly clothing itself in flesh to form the lumbering monster. Rather than portraying the creature as a mindless killer, the film focuses on the psychological bond between the creator and his creation. The monster is depicted as an unhappy being driven by jealousy and a craving for love, constantly haunting the scientist even on his wedding night. The climax features a dramatic mirror scene where the monster's physical form fades away, proving it was a reflection of the scientist's own corrupted vanity. For decades, film historians believed that this crucial piece of cinema history was completely lost to time. Fortunately, a single surviving nitrate print was discovered in a private collection during the late 1970s, allowing the film to be fully restored and preserved. Today, this short film stands as a monumental milestone that proved monster stories could carry profound emotional weight on screen. The third horror film from the original list is El Inferno, a groundbreaking Italian production released in 1911. This silent feature is historically significant as Italy's very first full-length movie, boasting an unprecedented running time of over 1 hour. Directed by a trio of visionary filmmakers, the project took over 3 full years to complete and became an international box office sensation due to its epic scale and high production values. The narrative provides a faithful visual journey through the first part of Dante Alighieri's famous epic poem, The Divine Comedy. The story follows the poet Dante as he is guided through the 9 circles of hell by the ancient Roman scribe Virgil. Along their terrifying descent, the duo encounters a series of horrific punishments, monstrous mythological beasts, and suffering souls trapped in eternal damnation. The film is celebrated for its shocking visual imagery, which was intentionally designed to evoke dread and terror in viewers. To bring hell to life, the creators used innovative special effects, elaborate set designs, and double-exposure photography to show giant demons eating sinners and detached heads speaking. Many of these nightmarish compositions were directly inspired by the famous 19th-century illustrations of French artist Gustave Doré. Ultimately, this cinematic achievement proved that horror could move beyond short gags and sustain a complex, feature-length narrative. Its massive global success demonstrated that audiences had a strong appetite for dark, grand spectacles and mature themes on the big screen. Today, it remains a monumental milestone that defined the artistic and technical possibilities of early dark cinema. Whether these early movies were actually scary depends entirely on the historical context of the audience watching them. To a modern viewer accustomed to CGI and gore, these black and white silent films feel more like whimsical stage plays or artistic historical artifacts rather than terrifying nightmares. The packing is slow, the acting is highly theatrical, and the monster makeup often looks campy. However, to audiences in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, these films were deeply unsettling because moving images were a brand new technology, making the on-screen illusions feel shockingly real. For viewers in 1911, seeing a film like El Inferno was a visceral and disturbing experience that genuinely evoked dread. Audiences of that era had never witnessed giant, winged demons devouring sinners or decapitated spirits holding their own heads on a giant screen. The lack of cinematic desensitization meant that simple special effects, like reverse motion filming or double exposures, felt like actual black magic. Newspaper reports from the time even documented instances of viewers fainting, screaming, or fleeing theaters in panic when monsters appeared. Ultimately, these films traded the modern jump scare for an eerie, atmospheric sense of the uncanny. While they do not deliver the adrenaline-pumping frights of modern horror, they tapped into deep-seated cultural anxieties regarding the afterlife, scientific hubris, and the supernatural. They were scary because they gave physical, moving form to humanity's oldest nightmares for the very first time in human history. This is the end of the video. Please leave a like on this video, and if you are new here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.